requesting files is one of the most popular features in ShareFile. Those are the key use cases that we pointed out in here. Both of us, this is what we've seen from our clients here in EMEA. So of course, audit and compliance, that's the first one for sure. Due diligence, if you have these large volumes of files, you can just once again request in a very secure way. Client onboarding, that's a very popular one here. And especially within our projects feature that I'm going to show you a little bit later. HR and contract management, of course, for some like personal contractual documentation, and budget planning for any like past forecasts that you wanna create.
The topic that we've chosen today, how to request files, first and foremost, is a little bit broad. Let's say it like that. ShareFile, as its name implies, is about sharing files. And if you ask 1,000 people what sharing files would mean, let's say how many were 900 would say sending files. Okay. However, requesting the files or the documents themselves is also a big portion, if you ask me, with the same magnitude portion of the entire sharing process, because it works bi-directional. Sending and receiving files comprises the magic of sharing. And that's why we want to focus on this topic today, and of course tell you and show you how ShareFile can ease your life doing that. What do you think, Laura? How important requesting files is rather than just sending them?
I totally agree with you, to be honest, Peter. That's why I mentioned at the very beginning that requesting files is actually one of the most popular things people do in ShareFile. Requesting, storing them the secure and correct way, that's super important, of course. Manage everything with the right people at the right time. And you can have visibility at very specific places like the folders we have in ShareFile, or the projects that we have for those ongoing processes that you might have with your internal and external parties. So definitely requesting files is one of the most important and useful features here.
Yeah, and in fact, what you see on the screen on those key use cases, folks like audit and compliance or due diligence, client onboarding, and so on and so forth, actually, it starts with requesting files. Before you send the files to your partners or customers or employees or colleagues and whatnot, you actually request something from them. In reality, in the audit, you have a bunch of documents, internal stuff that needs to be diligently filled in, right? In the client onboarding, whenever you have newcomers in your organization, you want to make sure that they adopt as soon as possible to your processes and systems. So you would request a bunch of information from them to get started. No need to mention contract management and budget planning, construction, even medical. If we brought our key use cases, medical stuff, marketing, engineering, tech, Laura and myself, while preparing for this webinar, we had a little list of document requests and information requests and checklists that we had to check to make sure that everything works fine. The room, the microphones, the documents that we're gonna show you. So she requested from me a bunch of lists before we start. So yeah, I would say that before you start sending and sharing the files, you need to request them, if you agree with me. Okay.
For sure. Yeah, that's totally true. And sorry that I gave you a little bit of work to do prior to our webinar, but that would be in a most efficient way for our users here. All right. I also wanted those key use cases that you're still seeing on the screen. We also had some like other examples that are not pointed out here. For example, I work with a very big UK-based construction company. So they used our premium projects feature entirely to handle all of the construction projects in there. They store stuff like drawings, stuff like any other important documentation, and it worked very, very well for them. Peter, do you have a specific quant that use projects or anything like that that you want to share? Maybe an example?
Yeah, sure. We do, of course, no mentioning quants names and stuff, but I can give you two very interesting examples. First, there is one relatively big organization which uses ShareFile in its project section, and more specifically the information requests, which we're going to show you guys a little bit later throughout the demo, to request information points from their clients, which then are transferred to a visa application process. And how cool is that to be able to manage structured information incoming from hundreds of people and being able to quickly process it further. Another thing I can think of and is, you mentioned constructing, but also in real estate. Requesting information is paramount. Whoever is being dealing with that, I'm doing this as well in my spare time using ShareFile. Of course, whenever you do some endeavor in the real estate business, you start with at least 15 document templates that you need to fill in, whether it's going to be for the revenue agency or from the banks you're working with, or from the actual companies that deliver the and construct the real estate. So you have those 15, 20 documents that you need to fill in every single time you have a different endeavor. It's repetitive, it's annoying work, but if you organize it quite well, if you use templates, something that comes in hand, believe me, it's a huge time saver. And we're scratching the surface. We didn't even mention yet, Laura, the signature options, which are essential part of us sending a document that has been requested from us. Okay, if I want to be onboarded like a customer, okay, if I want to send my audit report, I'll definitely need to sign it. And after you request to me, Laura, with ShareFile, we can show our audience today how easily you can create a template or a document which both requests information and the signature itself at the end of the document, or in the middle of the document whenever it's necessary to sign it.
Great. Yeah, that's totally true that you mentioned. And the really nice thing is that everything can happen in one place, in one standardized place that I'm going to show you. All of those information requests that Peter mentioned, the document requests, along with the signature after that, because once we collected some information, once we collected some documents, maybe it's time for approvals and signatures. So yeah, we have the place for that, and we're going into demo in a moment.
Absolutely, I think it's right about time to go and show you how the magic happens between the curtains. But before that, let's focus more on two main directions. We said we're going to talk about requesting files. It exists as a straightforward option in ShareFile, which you can initiate from the UI on several places. Let's start with that. Let's show the customers how easy it is to literally use 2 clicks or so to request a file. And then add on top of that, with the help of the work management solutions, like the projects that we have, which is, how should I say it, which is the next step of how you organize your work, not only related to requesting files, but also to sending files, to managing those, to working with several customers simultaneously and stuff. So we start with the basics, how easy it is and how straightforward it is to request a file in a secure manner. We're going to talk about the different options that we have, and then we are going to get one step further and deep dive into the magic of work management solutions and the project.
That's my ShareFile demo account, as Peter mentioned. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, three common ways that we're going to share. I'm going to start with the most basic one, but a very nice and easy one. So here in your shortcuts, we have the request files button, always visible. You go in there, and yeah, you can choose a file. You can choose a file location like a folder. By default, you're seeing this file box. Files can stay in there temporarily for 180 days. If that works for you, you can leave the files in that box. Otherwise, you can edit. And if you want the files to stay for a longer period of time or just to be saved in there in your account, just choose any other folder from your account. Two ways that you can request files: get a link, super popular one, and also you can send to specific people via ShareFile email solution. I'm gonna just show you get a link in here because this is what most clients are using at the moment. So you're gonna have a link prepared here for you. You can copy and then paste it over into an email template, even on social media, if you'd like. Before that, you can edit the options from here. You can choose who's gonna access that link. As you can see, we're super flexible in there. So it can be just a public link, or you can also say, okay, our users needs to do it after signing in. So those are for your client contacts and employee users. So you choose here the option that you prefer. You can also put an expiry if you'd like. Or just put it to never, whatever your choice. And you can also be notified when files are uploaded into the specific folder that you've chosen. Once you click save, the link is updated. You copy it and you paste it. You paste it over. I think Peter want to say something here.
Yeah, and thanks for that. Can you just go back a little bit to the edit options, please? Where we present the different type of accessing of the links. Same is valid for sending. Of course, in ShareFile, not just for requesting. This is paramount because we're not talking only about sharing and requesting documents and files and so on. We talk about secure sharing and requesting of documents and files. As you all know, there are two types of users within ShareFile that exist. They're employees, which are the internal um, employees of your organization, the people who actually consume the licenses of ShareFile and have the full set of permissions within the tool. However, as it happens in reality, you work with different partners, clients, customers, friends, if you wish, family, and so on, which are usually regarded as and counted as clients within ShareFile and the tool. They do not need a license for the application itself. Of course, you can assign them quite a limited set of permissions. Usually it's going to be a single folder or a subset of folders where they can send you the files, for example, that you request from them. Simple like that. And hence, those four types of permissions, of access types for the different links that we create in ShareFile. Anyone public would mean that it's free for all. Anyone, you don't need to do anything. You just click on the corresponding link, or you either request or send a document. Right. Anyone public, but with the necessity to enter some identification like in email and first name and second name, and the more secure way of sharing files, which we would recommend you do that. And if we don't do that, our secure AI recommender would automatically examine your document and most probably based on the content of the document, recommend you use those two options, clients and employees, after they sign in with the accounts that they have in ShareFile. And yeah, sorry, Laura, I just wanted to talk a little bit more on those options.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's important, especially in regards of security, right? So actually the first option, public, anyone, we do not recommend it ourselves, but I really wanted to show you that it's quite flexible. If you need it like immediately, if you need to share like with a broader audience right now, you just click on request files, you choose public, you share it with those people. All right. I'm not going to get into that much detail into send to specific people, but basically this is the ShareFile email tool that you can use. Once again, you can select a number of participants. It can be multiple or it can be just one person. You create your own subject in here. You give a little bit of message in there, and then you request the files. So those are the two options. And yeah, so this option here, this method, the very basic one, I would say is best for those one-of-file requests that you have. However, if you'd like to have, if you have this ongoing process, right, then I would say let's go into projects, or what we call it right now, work management tool. So we can take a look at the other options there. If you do not see projects, it means that you're on a different one, but just stay along because this is a very nice feature you can be introduced to. Projects here. Peter, do you have something to add actually for projects?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to share a few words on the projects themselves, as we call it, work management. And exactly, it's think of all the processes that you do. You click a request link or a requested document. You click share link and share document. It works absolutely fine out of the box, quick and secure, right? But let's try to scale that and work with 5 or 10, or somebody in the poll said they have thousands of employees or customers or clients. Imagine that you need to manage back and forth with this amount of people. I would recommend the next step of a way to organize your work, not just into folders and subfolders. Although it works fine, when you scale, you see that productivity is impacted to some extent. That's why I would recommend using the notion of projects. This organization of your items, be it different types of requests, be it different types of tasks that might surface reminders to your colleagues or customers, with specific deadlines and automated reminders that something needs to be completed by someone in a given period. Why not even automating that, even getting to the next level? This is something that I'm quite a fan of, and I'm going to show somewhere towards the end of this webinar. And yeah, hence introduction of the notion of projects. Can you give an example, Laura, of how we can use, or our customers use, projects on the top of your mind? Is it like managing like different, each of our customer maybe is a different project, or each initiative or endeavor is a different project? What can you share?
Yeah, I actually I had different scenarios with my clients. To be honest, when it comes to projects, it's like a broader use cases that you can have in there. I had some people that are actually managing only internal things. So projects is entirely for the internal organization. They're managing like the internal documentation in there and information that needs to be done. It's really nice because if we go to a project itself, I'm just going to take this new client onboarding, for example. There's not only like requests that you can do, but as Peter mentioned, you can have your to-dos, like what are your tasks. You can assign it to different people. So basically, you can have visibility in here. And instead of just going back and forth with emails, we have also comments. here in projects. So the communication and the whole collaboration within your org can be very easily handled in here. You can just set up comments, you tag a specific person, they come into projects, they see it. When we're that's a lot of internal use cases, to be honest. And then of course a lot of quants just use it for their third party partners or contractors. That's also a very, very typical use case. So they can have all of the information documentation here in this one centralized place. Here for the project, you can see that you can share it very easily with people internally and externally, right? You choose who to share it with. If let's say if it's with a quant, but they're not in your quant contacts yet, you can also click create a new quant and you can just create them on the go and share any kind of project and documentations moving forward. You specify the permission set. They can have a full view, meaning that they'll see each content in the project. You can also put a little bit of limited view and you can of course customize it. And then if you said, okay, custom, choose your own permissions, let's say this person needs to do only one thing within the project, you can also do that. So in this one centralized collaboration hub, as I would like to call it, you can do requests, right? And this is what we're focusing today. So different types of requests can be handled. Three common types here. When you go to create request, you're going to see them. There's a document request, information request just for pure data, and signature requests after you're done with everything. Peter, back to you.
Yeah, let's dig in a little bit more further on those requests. Hence the main topic of the webinar today. Three types of requests within the notion of projects that exist nowadays: document request, information request, and signature request. Let's see how we can use them, how we can differentiate between them, and what happens in real life. Okay. Document request and information request. Think of remember we were talking about the key cases at the beginning, like audits and compliance, due diligence, and customer onboarding. And I gave you this example from real estate. Whenever you want to do something, you need to sign at least or review at least 15 documents. So consider this bunch of documents, 1, 2, 10, 15, whatever, a document request. It doesn't necessarily mean one document only. The notion of document requests means that it's an entity that exists within ShareFile that can include within itself a bunch of, let's say, 15 documents to onboard within your new company. Okay. Within one such project, you can create multiple document requests of different types, each of which contains different types of single documents within it and manage their progress. Okay. On the other hand, we do have the information request, actually my favorite, which gives you the ability to create a interactive form with the people you work with. Actually, this is something that I'm gonna try and do myself while Laura continues to present, and see what we can do during the live demo session. By the way, everything we do today is live demo. If our Wi-Fi magically disconnects, or if something happens, or if something breaks, this is the risk of the live broadcast, guys. So in the meantime, while we speak, I'm gonna try to create an information request asking for feedback of you, how our webinar is going. This is another example of such form that you can create and share it with your colleagues or partners or customers. Yeah, and of course, the third part is the signature request, signing, authenticating, making sure that the documents you send are legit. It's a huge part which is built in with ShareFile. No need for additional installations or configurations. it comes out of the box for you to use it.
Great. Thank you, Peter. So while Peter is busy with the task that he assigned to himself, let me show you how easily it is to create all of those three that we just explained. I'm gonna start with document request. When you click on it, we have three ways right now that we can create a document request. First one is create from scratch. We also have templates. I'm personally a big fan of templates. So once you create one document request, we can always save it as a template, and then it will be visible within your own templates and you can choose it, and that's going to reduce the manual work definitely. Our newest one, as you can see, still in beta though, meaning that we're still doing development to it, is create with AI. So once that one is fully developed, that's going to be very useful for all of you. You're going to create those requests based on, if we click on it, just to give you an example, based on what should be the name, of course, a due date, because important to know when that document is due, the industry you work with, your role in the industry, and then you just give a little bit of information, like a couple of sentences. What's the purpose of this request? And then our tool will give you multiple examples. So that's something that we're working on. Of course, AI is a big portion of our tool. Going back here to document requests, I'm gonna just create one from scratch. I'm gonna write it here. This Quora webinar, let's say. You can put description. As I mentioned, the due date is important. Let's give it a week for now. When you create it, that's the UI that you're gonna see. So basically here you can start requesting the items. As Peter mentioned, it can be multiple documents, right? It can be one, it can be 10 or hundreds. You can add them manually. You can also export from an Excel file. We have a very good template that you can use. The columns in there are name, description, categories, due date, and assignee. So we should know who that one is assigned to. So you can use the template, do it in a easy way with it in here, or just use one of the templates that you already have. Add an item from scratch, give it a name. Let's say I want to request some company overview, right? I'm creating it. Once again, I can have a description, the due date. You can put it into any categories if you had any. You can go ahead and assign it. Let's assign it to Peter. Let's give him more work to do in here. Permission set. Yep, he's the assignee. Message, please share this document with me. That's just an example. You assign it. Peter is going to receive a notification through email first, and then also in his Quant account, he's going to see it in there as a task that he needs to complete. So that's how easy it is with a document request. Let's take a look at Peter's favorite information request. This is just for pure data, so you can collect some information. Once again, we have from blank or from a template that you can use. If we click on create from blank, let's say here again, this Quora 2, you can put a description. Let's put a due date again. You create it, and as you can see, this is like a form, as we mentioned, and those are the fields that you can use, and of course you can customize. Let's say I want Peter to give me a little bit of personal information. This is a Quant onboarding, right? I can choose here a short answer. I can customize it a little bit. Let's say this will be a required field, and I want this to be his, let's say, first and last name. In here I can save it, and then you can move to settings and to preview. Let's go back to settings here. If you want to put a description, preview, let's put a little bit of information. And now when you go to your requests, so now Peter has a couple of stuff to do. I need a company overview document from him with information in there, some personal information from his side as well. So once you collect all the documents, once you collected the information, you might need some approvals. You might need some signatures going forward, or those like NDAs that we would like to often send. The third request here in the same place, which is quite nice, is the signature request. Similar to the other two, you can create one from scratch or once again use a template. Let's create one from blank. Let's see what's available in there. So here you can choose the files that needs to be signed. It can be from your computer or from ShareFile directly. I think I had some, yeah, I have docs for signature. Let's share this security compliance acknowledgement. Probably it's a long doc. It's going to take a little bit of time to process. Okay, it's in here. And you can actually start adding the signers in here. It can be multiple. And if you add multiple, we also have this nice feature where you can set a sign-in order. Let's say Peter needs to sign first, but then someone else from the company needs to be the second one, or vice versa. You can just, you can just manage the signing order in here. I'm going to delete that one. Let's just assign it to Peter. He's going to be the main signer here. Next steps. So you have the document and then you can place some fields, right? Once again, you have all of the fields here at the left. And let's say I need to, we also have a signature. I need to put the signature in here. And you can put different fields in different places. You can customize, as you can see, the name of the field. You're seeing who is assigned to, make it a required. Of course, we need a signature. That's a required one. And then we have next step in here with the signer. You can basically put a little bit of note here, put an expiration date. Let's say this needs to be signed in 1 week. When you put an expiration date, the good thing is that you also receive those, he's going to receive those reminders, those notifications saying, okay, you have 2 days until the due date or 5 days until the due date. You can even secure it more with a passcode. Of course, you need to share the passcode with each recipient, but those are just the options to show how secure you can actually make it. Review, and then when I click on send signature requests, that's once again sent to Peter, and he'll receive it. He can go ahead, sign it. Once he do that, I'll be able to see it in here. You have a status, right? Right now, everything is open. Once Peter submitted, it's going to be closed, and I can go in there here under files in the project. Everything that is received in regards of signatures, information requests, document requests will be in here, and yeah, everyone can have a nice look in there. Peter, are you done with your task?
Yes, as we speak, and thank you for that. Laura, going back to a few of my favorite topics within ShareFile. So let's see how we're with the time. We have around 15 minutes remaining, so I think we're pretty well on that. What I want to focus now is show you how you can extend the information request forms themselves. I want to show you how automation happens within ShareFile, meaning that whenever you stumble upon those repetitive processes that you need to accomplish, I don't know, every other day or week or month or whatever, you can create an automated workflow in order to make your life a little bit more easier with ShareFile. And last but not least, we want to talk about mobile a little bit. Okay, we are all mobile nowadays, and whatever we can manage from our phones, we could do it. I wish we could do the webinar from our phones, but we couldn't, we cannot yet. But stay tuned for that. And we're gonna do a little bit of a role play here. All of those requests that were created and sent. I'm gonna show you guys how they look from a mobile perspective. Sharing an iPhone from my Windows PC, that would be fun. And yeah, let's settle that in the next 10 minutes or so. My favorite part of the forms we were chatting about. You can go really deep with those kinds of interactive forms that you can create as part of your ShareFile projects. In the meantime, I created an information request, which I think is relevant to today's webinar. Let's say, so those forms are interactive. Literally, this is drag and drop. You have a blank canvas in the middle that you can build from scratch. Literally, just drag and drop the necessary types of elements that you want to appear for your customers or partners. This could be checkboxes, this could be multi-choice answers, numbers for phone numbers, file upload action, short answer, long answer, meaning that it could be single line or multiple line. And those, of course, can be modified, changed, they can be made required or not, depending on the how you want to organize it. And there is a layout, whether it's going to be horizontal or vertical as part of the form that you create. So here I used three main two different elements from for this information request, like the title of the request, what webinar format would you prefer. I added multiple choices here, right? Like this, whether it's going to be more interactive, more conversational, more educational, or keep it as it is, because we actually rock at the moment. Or you can add a free text multi-line box here. And of course, if it was a real case scenario, we could ask you if you'd like to have a personal demo of ShareFile projects where you can input your phone number and choose a the country code. I'm in preview mode now, and this is how it would look like in real life if somebody access it. By the way, if someone from you wants to have a more personal demonstration, more tailored towards your needs and how you use ShareFile, let us know, ping us in the comments, and we'll contact you. Okay, right? So this is the form. Once you create it and make it part of your projects, you can assign it to the people you work with, or send the link. Let's, for the sake of this demo, assign it, for example, to Stefan, and that's it. This is how the magic happens in ShareFile project information requests. Now, I promised to go one step further and tell you how you can automate some of these daily tasks that you need to do back and forth with your clients or partners. There is a separate section in ShareFile called automated workflows, which allow you to automatically perform some actions based on some conditions. This one I created in advance, of course, for the sake of time, but I can just show you how it was created and what it actually does. Okay, let's say we have a bunch of documents to send to someone to sign. So we request the signature from our clients. Okay, we send a client agreement to this fictional company of mine called Luna Enterprises. I can input the file as a template. Okay, manage all the necessary fields inside where the signature has to be placed, and send it either to a specific person or to a variable which would include a different type, multiple recipients, which could be different each time you trigger the workflow. The next step of the workflow that you create, and all of this, by the way, that you can see is configurable, literally, again, with click and complete of the fields. This is how you build the workflow itself, okay, is the action that would be triggered after the document, the template for the signature is sent. I would choose as a next step, after my customers sent me this signed document, to place the already signed document to a specific folder that could be related to this customer if I'm organizing my customers into folders, for example. So once they sign it, the signed document would be placed there into the folder itself, which I have pinpointed here. And the next step of my workflow is to trigger another type of action, which is called send an email. I would automatically send an email to my client that after they have already signed the document, to welcome them aboard, tell them more about the company, for example, ask them to verify their account, and that kind of stuff. Okay. And that's the last step of my workflow, which I would create. Let me close it. Once you have, of course, you can have a limited number of automated workflows here based on different scenarios. But once you have them in place, all you need to do in order to trigger this process is start the workflow itself. ShareFile would ask you, would check if you have the necessary permissions, of course, to run the workflows, which would require elevated permissions, and it is started. Remember, the workflow sends automatically a signature request to a customer. After the customer signs the request, it would automatically, as I like to say, go to a specific folder here of my choice in the received folder, which is empty. And after that, I would send a welcome email to that very customer. Let's see how my Gmail is doing at the moment. And my other alter ego, Washington Irving, has just received a client agreement request that needs to be signed. Now I am the client of the organization, and you're seeing my screen from the client perspective. This is the client agreement. This is these are the fields. It has already been signed from the owner CEO, which you can also modify with the help of annotations in the template. So you have something that's already signed, but you as a client needs to input your signature, whether you type it, look how beautiful my signature is, or of course you can draw it or upload an image of your signature. Different types of options that we provide to you. Add, submit, and the document has just been signed. A beautiful reminder here, ShareFile for client users. Stay tuned. In a minute or so, I'm going to show you how it looks also from mobile first perspective. Okay, so we go back as a client again, as Washington. I'm here. I just have, I received notifications that the document was successfully signed by me and executed. Remember, part of the workflow was going into ShareFile and making sure that the already signed documents is automatically placed into the received folder. And there it is, the sample document with the signature from the client. And the third part of the workflow was the automated email that me as ShareFile administrator, as the company administrator, sent to my just onboarded customer. You have been approved. Please verify your status and welcome aboard the Full Enterprises. Here, all of this email template, the action points, the verification buttons, all of this is configurable as part of the workflow. Okay, all right. So, Laura, how does this look?
Perfect. I'm really happy that you actually showed the automation, to be honest, because I think we all love automations, and that was a great example. As I'm a little bit conscious of time, though, I think we can just step into the mobile overview because I think you wanted to show us something. So basically, yeah, mobile app is very nice, and you can always have everything on the go. That's what we all want. So, Peter, if you're ready, we can switch to that.
Let's see the most important part, the most critical part of the demonstration is now to begin because I'm doing my best to cast an iPhone screen, my personal iPhone, to a Windows 11 operating system workstation. Very quickly, because we're conscious of time, there are two types of mobile applications that exist for ShareFile. The ShareFile app itself, which allow you to manage the folders, send and request documents, which you can see on the right hand side of the screen, and the ShareFile for clients, which is a application that specifically targets your clients, partners, or customers, the people you work with. Okay, you can see on my screen again my alter ego, Washington Irving. All of the tasks that Laura previously was assigning to me appear here in the Open Tasks tab of the application. Of course, you have completed tasks and you have open tasks because we want to finish those tasks as soon as possible while we're on the go. Right. So we have the open tasks. We have the public, the person information request that you want to achieve. And here I can enter my initials as part of the information request, submitted, and there you go. I have completed these tasks from my mobile on the go. And same is valid with requests, with different types of documents. And so I want to show you the document request task here, which you can tap to upload a file. Either scan it, take a photo of it, or choose one from the photo library. Unfortunately, while casting my screen, technically, I cannot initiate my camera or open my photo library to upload something, but you got the notion of how it works. And yeah, in brief, a successful presentation, successful cast of the iPhone screen. Thank you. Bye-bye.